That was one of those moments of, I have no memory of it or anything. And coming back home, ended up in the hospital and being told I needed an operation, take part of my skull away and drain a bleed off my brain.
Wow.
It was just really strange. And the chap said, yeah, go for a light jog. And I told him about parkrun. I went and done a really easy parkrun that week and thought, wow, this is amazing. I can still do this. The running actually gave me the hope of thinking, I think I'm going to be okay.
Hi, my name is Michelle Lewis. 10 years ago, you'd have been lucky to see me run to the end of the road. These days, running is second nature to me. From marathons to parkruns to putting my own running group through their paces, you'll often see me in suitably loud attire, getting ready to pound the pavements. And here's a secret, if I can do it, you can too. There's so many wonderful and inspiring stories in the world of running. And not just running, some of my favourite tales involve those who take to their wheelchairs, bikes or simply their own trusty feet in an attempt to get fitter, faster or just have some fun. In this podcast, I'm going to be in conversation with some of the most inspiring and fascinating of these people. Remember, it's your time, your speed, your way. The only person you need to keep up with is yourself. This week I've been talking to Mark Kennedy. Mark's a well-known runner across Northampton and is currently closing in on his 100th half marathon. As if that's not impressive enough, he's doing all that despite suddenly suffering a brain injury while on a holiday of a lifetime. Mark's injury means he has to battle against anxiety and bouts of fatigue. Despite that, he's one of the most upbeat people you could ever hope to meet. Now he's written a book, aptly called What the Hell Just Happened, about his experiences and those of his wife Jules. This is Mark's running tale. So Mark, tell us about your running journey.
Yes, running journey. Well, I got hooked in 2007 when my cousin did the Great North Run the year before, and he said, do you fancy entering this? So I did.
So do you mind sharing roughly how old you were there so people get an idea? Was you a teenager?
Oh, no. I was how old would I have been then? So my early 30s.
Okay. So you were a late runner.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. I generally played a lot of football and used to do a lot of gym stuff. So I've always been fit and active. Go back to the old cross country days at school where I used to come near the back.
Okay.
And I never really thought I'd enjoy running. I always used to think it would be one of these clicky type of sports, where you've got to be really, really good, and I was pleasantly surprised.
So your cousin doing the Great North Run, what at that point made you think, hang on, I wouldn't mind giving this a try?
Yeah, it's again, years ago I lived in Newcastle when I was a teenager. And I'd heard about the Great North Run then, and it was really bizarre because people either in the northeast embraced it or avoided it like the plague. And my girlfriend at the time, her family and everything were the latter. They just avoided it like, you don't want to go anywhere near that. And I was like, oh, come on, let's go and have a look. So I sort of had that intrigue in the back of my mind, and obviously seen the London Marathon on the telly and things like that, and had friends that ran at the time who were quite good runners. But yeah, when Ben did it, he said it was absolutely brilliant, and said, "Oh, do you fancy doing it next year?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll give that a go." Unfortunately, he got injured, so he couldn't do it.
Oh, right, okay.
But I said, you know what, I'm going to enter it anyway. So I think about 6 months before, I was like, yeah, I'm going to pay my money now I think I did it for cancer research.
Okay, so it was a charity that gave you that motivation.
Yeah,
okay.
That's it.
And then you finished. What was the feeling when you got that medal?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I mean, during the training, I did the Silverstone 10k, the Moulton 10k.
Okay.
And had a couple of little, I think I've done the Blisworth 5k as well. So I'd done a few little events, but then going to the Great North was something else because there was so many people there. And bizarrely, I found it a lot easier than I thought I was going to.
Okay.
So
what was that? The beer at mile 11?
Yeah, I missed that guy. Actually, I saw him, but it's like no. I was actually really scared. I thought if you drank beer while you were running, you'd probably die or something, at that point. But yeah, when I crossed the finish line, it was just that amazing. I just remember texting absolutely everybody in my phone, like, I've just done the Great North Run, I've just done the Great North Run. And then most people coming back and saying, oh, you do the London Marathon next then.
Okay, so after that, what happens? Did you start entering? And obviously, I know you since, you have been doing races. So from a half marathon, did you go straight to a marathon or did you carry on doing halves?
Well, I did enter the London Marathon the following year, so that would have been 2008, and I got a charity place for that, real late charity place.
Oh, you run the London Marathon?
Yeah,
okay.
Done it 4 times now, so
wow.
It's ticked off the list.
Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah.
I'm not jealous, don't worry.
Nobody can get in now, can they?
No one can get in, yes.
But I just I sort of got a bit of a bug for it. I thought, no, I'm just going to do this for a little bit of fun. Got my place through YMCA at the time,
okay.
And it was a really low fundraising target, and I was working full time, so that was pretty cool. But London was great doing that, and sort of getting into a few local events, meeting people, and then I came across Northampton Road Runners after doing the Malton 10K. I've got a mate, Tom Sullivan, who ran there as well. I knew him through the football, and he's like, oh, you got to come along and have a look at this club. It's like, no, it's all clicky running clubs, I'm not doing that. But yeah, finally caved in and decided to join a running club as well.
So Northampton Road Runners is very, I know amongst us runners, even if you're not a club member, it's quite a social club, and you can
absolutely
see it. It's really lovely to see as an outsider how social it is. So from when you started, it was a small group, I take it, and then now you seem to be growing every month. I'm hearing new people are joining. Yeah,
it's. I mean, my first memory was doing the Malton 10K before the Great North, and I just remember going around the route, and people the marshals were so friendly, they were so encouraging, and when we finished, it was almost sort of, oh, how did you get on? How did you feel? And I was thinking, well, this is my second 10K, and you have that moment of, well, my time's not great or anything, and people, oh wow, that's a really good time for your second 10K. So the encouragement was there. But yeah, the first night I ran with them, I remember going off with 2 guys, Mick and Alan, and we went round the route, and I was thinking, hold on a sec, I'm at the front, what's going on here? And thought everybody was perhaps just being really nice and kind. Oh, here's the new guy, you go off and feel good. But then a few of the elite people came along next week, and I realised that maybe there was quicker runners there.
So
very friendly.
Out of all your races you've done, because you've done quite a few at all different levels, and what I like as well is, I wasn't sure if it was last year or the year before, for you, you're a bit like me in the sense of, if you enter a race, okay, time, it's not really about time, because you did Beachy Head, and that's what convinced me to do Beachy Head, which we will have words about that after this.
Yes.
You actually more or less, you power walked Beachy Head with your wife Jules. So that's, the mentality has changed a bit from when you did that Great North Run to now. You can do a marathon and think, I don't mind if I don't run it. It's 26.2 miles.
Absolutely. I think it's changed a lot, because when I first got into running, I did think it was all about times, and I thought that, everybody has the fear they're going to finish last, don't they? It's like, oh God, what if I come last? What if I come last? And then now you go to events, and the person that finishes last gets a bigger cheer than the person that finishes first.
Yes.
Which is another great thing I always loved about Northampton Road Runners. When we were doing the cross country, the last person from our club would normally come in the last few places, and we'd all be standing there cheering them on, But it's become more about enjoyment for me. I've done the times, I've pushed for the PBs, and I still will do, and I still do those now and again. But I love the events, I love the experience, the atmosphere. So like Beachy Head, I mean, I had no idea what walking a marathon would be like, and it was probably just as hard as running it.
Out of all the marathons,
Yeah.
how could you have just walked Beachy Head? It was a nightmare.
Oh God, yeah, the Seven Sisters at the end. It's just that bit looks easy on the profile, but when you do it, it's horrible, isn't it?
I know. So, with you've done all this running, and then lately I've heard, and you've got your book out, which we'll touch on your book as well.
Yeah.
You had a brain injury.
Yeah.
So, is this before or after you started running, or during, or and has it helped you with your running?
That's an interesting question, actually. Yeah.
Maybe there's too many questions.
No, that's all. Yeah, I've got a brain injury. I have to think about that.
Yes.
No, I do. I started running in 2007. I had a brain injury in 2012. So I mean, we all remember the Olympics in this country. It was amazing. I remember going down to London and watching some of the events like the gymnastics and so on. And then there was that night of the I can't remember, it was called Super Saturday, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Usain Bolt and Mo Farah.
Yeah,
what a
Mo
night.
Farah won and Greg Rutherford and Jess Ennis. And the week after that, Mo Farah had the 5K, done the double.
Yes.
And we watched that, and that was the night I had my brain injury. I basically blacked out in the toilet and hit my head. So that was one of those moments of, I have no memory of it or anything. And coming back home, ended up in the hospital and being told I needed an operation, take part of my skull away and drain a bleed off my brain.
Wow.
It was just really strange. And in the end, I didn't have the operation. But a few weeks later, I was told, you can't do any contact sport. So my football was out the window straight away. And the next question I asked him, I said, I run loads and I love it, can I run? And the chap said, yeah, go for a light jog. So I thought, that's encouraging. And I told him about parkrun and said, look, I do the parkrun every week. And he said, well, just jog around that, you'll be safe because there's hundreds of other people.
Yes.
So I did. I went and done a really easy parkrun that week and thought, wow, this is amazing. I can still do this. So the running actually gave me the hope of thinking, I think I'm going to be okay. I had actually entered a half marathon called the Beast the following week as well, and the guy did say no. Do the parkrun but don't do the Beast.
But was your attitude to running and getting round parkrun different than before the brain injury?
Yeah, but it was very short. I think that was one of the things that I went and done the parkrun the first week. I went over to the park on my own. I mean, you know how close I live to it, so it wasn't exactly far. I just walked over there. I didn't really engage with a lot of people. I started right at the back, and I thought, this is going to be absolutely fine, because if I'm going to be half a mile from home, wherever I am, and there'll be somebody there. And when I went round, I started realising that I was, getting a decent pace going, and I was probably only about sort of 2 or 3 minutes slower than my time. So I think that gave me the belief straight away, thinking, yeah, I can do this. I mean, I have had times where I've really struggled running, and I've had times where there's been the elation there of like, wow, I can't believe I can still do this. And then there's been times where, even halfway around the park run, I've been full of anxiety or something like that, and hit a wall and just hit like absolutely no energy, and sort of just dragged myself around, So there's different sides to it, but it's definitely helped, and the community and everybody like that, definitely.
So tell us about your book, which is just out.
So the book's called What the Hell Just Happened, because when I collapsed in the toilet and Jules found me there, she said those very words, I think. There might have been an extra word in there somewhere, but and since my brain injury, I've been really lucky to, I got told that over 90% of people don't survive what actually happened to me. The bleed on my brain was so big, and that's why they wanted to operate. But I knew at that point I hadn't had these seizures, fits, blackouts for a week, because I was on holiday at the time. So by the time we got home, I hadn't had any of those symptoms. So I decided just to not have the operation. But I had a lot of side effects with fatigue, anxiety, stress, and all those sorts of things. So Jules came up with the idea last summer of writing this book, because finally I got into a hospital, Isbrook Hospital in Wellingborough, and getting loads and loads of support, which I hadn't had before, because everybody sees this guy who runs marathons and does parkrun every week, and runs 2 part-time businesses and has lots of fun and goes travelling, and you don't need any of this. So Jules came up with the idea of writing the book to get our story out there, to say, look, sometimes it's okay not to be okay, and sometimes it's okay to suffer, but speak out about it and keep pushing for help.
Do you mind if we say what Jules' story? Because there's
of
2
course,
stories in this one book. So
absolutely. Yeah, so Jules wanted to write the story originally, and I said, how about if I write mine and you write yours? And it was fascinating how the story came together. So there's 2 sides, there's 2 points to it.
And Jules' story, if you can just touch on it so everyone knows.
Yeah, so Jules was, sort of sometimes dealing with this guy who's like, hey, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a runner, I do all these things. And all of a sudden, when I'm at home, I'm like, boom, absolutely nothing, no energy, no desire to do anything. I mean, I was avoiding social events and things like that, and I was avoiding family and everything like that. But then I was having to go out there and have my game face on. So Jules' story is more about the things that us guys don't talk about, and we put the game face on more than anybody, I think. So it's helped both of us to release a lot of pressure, especially me to say, oh, actually, yeah, do you know what? I have got some issues here that I need to deal with, and have support with. So it's been really, really great from that point. But also I could see how much it was tearing Jules apart, in herself. So the book was fantastic. Reading Jules' side for me was fantastic. Even though I knew all of those things, when you see it and you write about it, it comes out so different, yeah.
So has it changed your relationship in a bit more, like in understanding and...
Yeah.
If you are having a downtime, you now know what Jules is thinking, or... Yeah, does that help?
I think the best thing has been, it's released a lot of stress from me, which has released Jules's frustrations, and I don't want to say her frustrations with me, but it's released her I'm trying to think of how to explain it. She's had to deal with the brunt of a lot of stuff, and of course when you're together all the time, she's the person that I'd maybe lash out at, or she would miss out of the things that she didn't want to miss out on, and what have you. So it's probably relaxed me a lot, which then has meant we've been able to relax ourselves and do the things that we want to do, and just enjoy life again, really. So it's great.
Well, you certainly do that with your holidays. Yeah. And I notice that Jules now does it running as well. And you've just come back from Benidorm, where Jules did a 10K and you did a half marathon. So it's lovely to see you both now combine your travel with running, and and your celebrations afterwards.
Absolutely.
So does the exercise help you both as well?
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, Jules, if she was sitting here now, she would say, oh, I'm not a real runner, and I don't run, and I'm not very good at it, or something.
We all
like
say that.
Yeah, we all say that. But she started doing the 5K Your Way with the Breast Friends charity as well, which is great. And she's happy to go there. She doesn't feel conscious about walking around. Same in Benidorm. She did everything she could at the start to talk herself into getting to the start and getting on the start line. Of course, I'm there buzzing away. Can hear this music pumping and everything, and thinking, okay, that's a bit loud, but it's good.
Yes.
And then when we went off at the start, because Jules is right at the back somewhere, I'm in the front pen, and we met up at the end. She just finished just before me. It was a 2-lap route, so it was ideal in that. And she's like, oh, I love that, it was brilliant.
So what's the next challenge for you or your boat? You, and then as you as a couple, have you got a next race? Or?
I think Jules is more happy doing the races abroad, and it's great because obviously we can combine it with a trip away, which is 2 passions in one there. For me, my targets this year, I want to get to the 300 park runs. I think I'm on 283 or 284 at the moment.
Okay, make note of that.
Make note of that, yeah, I'll do it in Northampton. And I'm going for the 100 half marathon club as well, so I'm on 85 at that at the moment.
Oh, wow.
I probably won't do that this year. I can't see it. I'm going to do 15 this year.
Well, with this virus, yeah.
Yeah, I know, just coughing. Oh my god. But yeah, they're definitely two big challenges. We have a challenge at the Northampton Road Runners as well, which we came up with called the 2020 challenge.
Yeah, could you just briefly go on about that? Because it's really interesting, and obviously we've done the shoe run recently.
Oh man, that was brilliant.
And just to explain to everyone, the shoe run is Northampton's known for the cobblers, and we've got a long history of the shoes being made here in Northampton. And recently the council I think we've got 9 shoes, fiberglass, large shoes scattered around the town. And we've got a park runner who needs a new wheelchair. He's a 10-year-old. So I've formed a small team from Northampton Park Runners, which is really nice that it's stayed within the running community. And there's 7 of us, and we're trying to raise funds for his new wheelchair. And one of them is I thought, well, let's do the shoe run.
Yeah,
so I've asked people to donate money for the shoes, for the shoe run. And you attended one of them, and you're also you're like me as well. Northampton's had a lot of stick with all the council and the £10 million that goes missing, and Northampton's not seen as in good light at the moment, but it does. For us that live here, it's a shame because there is a lot of good in Northampton.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So you're very passionate about, and you are an original Northampton.
I am, yeah. I was born here, yeah.
So do you like the fact that now there is a run that kicked off, and it was a novelty?
Yeah.
And then you included it in this point system. So going back, can you explain the point system? I did go off a bit.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Wow, so much to mention there, but I set up a challenge last year, and it evolved this year into I called it the 2020 challenge. So you've got 20 different events, whether it's a mile, a 5k, 10k, park run. We had the novelty run, which the shoe run could count as, and anything up to an ultra. And the idea is members can opt in and do as many as they want or as few as they want. But we've got 3 levels, so if you complete 12 out the 20, then that's your first level. 15 is your second level, and all 20 is.
Is there a prize at each level? Or?
Yeah. So of course they get a trophy if they do all 20. And,
which I believe one person did at the weekend.
Dawn Balen did that. She was the first.
I was expecting Karen.
Sprint for the line.
I was expecting Karen. So I was really shocked when you announced Dawn.
I know.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
Just.
It was wonderful because, a good mate of mine knows Karen Shakespeare and Mark Rose as well. We're both on 19. It's like, who's going to do it first?
Very competitive, yes.
So Dawn goes out and does an ultra on the Saturday and a 6-miler on the Sunday. And again, it's the thing I love about running is Dawn won't mind me saying, but she's not the fastest, but it's the hare and the tortoise thing, isn't it? She's certainly not the slowest as well. So please, Dawn, don't think I'm calling you the tortoise. But it's just that thing, that love, that enjoyment, and her partner Justin, they run together. They run every race together. They cross the line together.
It's lovely,
I love that. It's so wonderful that somebody can complete a challenge like that, and it's not about being the fastest or banging out PBs all the time and everything. So it's great.
So you've got your book out.
Yeah.
You've got your 300th park run coming up.
Yeah, that's
2020 is going to be a year to remember for you.
Yeah.
So overall, how would you summarise your running journey?
Yeah, it's. I think if you'd have asked me in 2007, where will you be in however many years' time that is, 13, 14 years' time, I don't know really. But when you see guys like Bob at Northampton Park Run, how old is he?
He's 87 next month.
87, wow. And there was a guy there, wasn't there, in the 90s on New Year's Day?
92, Roger, who joined us last summer, yes.
And I think I look at that and I think, wow, I'm 40, mid-40s now, 46 this year, and I think I would love to be doing that when I'm twice my age. So I think summing up the running journey, it's done so much more than I ever expected. It's great doing a 1:30 half marathon. I love that. It was brilliant. But, last week I done a 1:43 in Benidorm, and I probably enjoyed that just as much, if not more. And a lot of people go, oh, that's not slow, that's really quick, I wish I could do that. But it is your own goals, isn't it? And I think it's the community, the friendships, and I think it's that friendship and that bond and that like-minded goal that you have with people that is so special. And going back to Northampton Road Runners, we've had, like, Jules isn't a member of NRR, but she's got so many friends there and so many people that absolutely love her because of who she is. But it's not just, oh, you're Mark's wife somewhere in the background or anything like that. So it's that whole inclusion, that whole community is what it's done for me. And a guy said, about the challenge, this has really helped my mental health, and sent me a message last week saying, if it wasn't for you putting this challenge on, I wouldn't have had a focus. And, that's really helped me. So when you get feedback like that of what you've given back to people, and what it's like with all the stuff you do, because you do more above and beyond than anybody, I think. So it's that feeling of giving something back and getting something yourself as well. It's wonderful, isn't it?
It's making a difference and actually seeing it and giving people the support that they wouldn't get elsewhere. And when they've got it, I don't know about you, the confidence and seeing that person grow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The best feeling.